Hi guys, it's Ray, and I'm finally doing that kind of reading stats top books of 2014 video that I kind of promised, or blog post. I promised something, but I'm doing it finally. And look, office! Although it's not tidy yet. You can't see my floor, but that's a good thing. And you also can't see my desk, which is also a very good thing because it's a shit tip. Because I'm trying to get my house tidy. I spent a lot of time tidying yesterday. But yes, books. I can just see from here there's like 3 stacks of books against my wall over there, 2 of which are to be read stacks, which is terrifying. And one of them is like various books that I read last year. But yes, first I'm going to do sort of like brief kind of reading stats. Luckily I don't have that many stats because I haven't been as finicky about it. But basically in 2014 I read 125 books. Now for me, that's really, really low, because even in 2009 when I only started recording, that's when I first started like journaling my books read, I still got about 160 in 2009, and that's when it started in March, so that's kind of ignoring like 2 months worth of reading. This last year, because I spent so much time, I was spending a lot of time writing, I didn't, and then also working, I didn't get anywhere near as many books read, but that's okay, that's fine. Although embarrassingly, not a single one of those books was a non-fiction book. Everything was fiction. I'm trying to fix that this year. I've already sort of started a non-fiction book, although it's going to take me a while because it's huge. But basically, out of those 125 books, 72 were new reads for that year. You might know from, if anybody knows me, I'm a prolific rereader and I just reread stuff year on year. And I mean, I've reread Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi every year since 2011. And I read it twice last year as well, because I have a problem. So yeah, I had 53 53 rereads, which is not too bad, although it's like, that's like 42%. It's borderline, getting close to half there. It's a bit worrying. When it's like, when you got like 42, 50, 58, it's worrying ratio. But yeah, out of the 125 books I read, there were a lot of books that were by the same authors. So I read 6 different male authors, 6, and 60 female authors. Yes. 6 men, 60 women. Okay, this is fine. And that's a lot of women. I'm secretly kind of proud of that. It's like, yeah, I'm mostly women in my library. I should read them. But in terms of like genre and stuff, although obviously YA is not a genre, it's a kind of audience bracket kind of suggested thing. 100 out of those 125 books were sort of YA books. Okay. The ones that weren't were basically either sort of historical Regency romance novels, or like the odd kind of general fantasy, or the odd sort of chick lit kind of book. And the one classic I read, which I reread, Persuasion. That was the only classic. I need to do better this year. But I had about 29 fantasy books, 25 that kind of went into the paranormal, supernatural bracket, and there's about like 8 vampire ones, so they kind of fall into that as well. 19 dystopia, 18 sort of realistic contemp novels, and 18 historical, and those do include the Regency romance. And out of all of those books, 82 of them were sort of part of a series. And that's not including the historical romance ones, because some of the Stephanie Lawrence ones are kind of in their own series, although they can all be read independently of each other. So it's like, I should have been better off like actually counting the standalones. I think that would have probably been easier, going, yeah, these are the only ones that aren't parts of series. Everything else is. That's a general kind of easy thing to assume. So yeah, they're my statistics. And now I have a stack of books next to me with a sort of my best of. I didn't sort of do like a sort of top 14 of 2014, because ironically, when I looked at my library thing, ratings thing, basically the number of books that I rated 5 stars that were not rereads, it was exactly 10. so that was quite good. And then I've kind of done the sort of 5 honourable mentions of like the 4.5 stars ones, although there were so many really, really good books I rated 4.5 stars. There's a kind of theme with the 5 stars that's like, they're all basically like end of series, or kind of the latest in a series. So it's like, there's so many good 4.5 stars. I could just do a whole video on all the 4.5 stars. And I mean, some of these 5 stars, for whether I'd rate them 5 stars again when I reread them, I don't know. It's, some of them one of them was like one of the first books I read last year, or like the 7th book I read last year. But rather than waffling too long, let's get on to the books. Now the first one on the top, I'm just going from, they're not in any order, they're just in the stack that I basically put them into a nice nice stack so I could take a photo for the thumbnail. And trust me, it's really hard to try and hold them up with one hand. As people who do that regularly will know, I don't tend to. And it's like, when I'm doing it with 2 hands, it's fine. I was thinking, I can hold a huge stack when I'm holding 2 hands, but you've got to have a hand free to take the picture, so fine. Well, the first one I've got is Forever Song by Julie Kagawa, and this is the 3rd book in her sort of Blood of Eden trilogy, and I really, really loved this trilogy. It's just, it got me excited for like kind of about vampire book again, because there's not been that many that I've got really like deeply involved in, and this is like kind of vampire dystopia almost. And I won't talk about the plot because obviously 2 books previously, but this was a really, really awesome end to the series, and it's just like, yeah, it's kind of strange because Julie Kagawa has written like 3 very distinctly different kind of sets of books. There's like all her Iron Fae books, which I don't plan on reading because I just don't really get on with fae, like fairy books very, very often. And this vampire dystopia, and then she's doing a new sort of kind of like urban fantasy dragon series. And I read Talon last year, although for how that's gonna go, it's not got me as much as the Blood of Eden series, but it's interesting. But yes, this was one of my 5-star reads. This one is caused a lot of contention in like sort of, a lot of booktubers have been like massive, sort of saying how disappointed they were with this. I was just, I just was, even though some people have been like, oh, it's just didn't feel it, I just still love this. I love Stephanie Perkins, I just love Paris, although very much sad times going on with Paris right now, but this was a really, really good read, and I miss these characters already, and it's like, I reread all Anna and Lola before I sort of read this as well, but it's just, Stephanie Perkins, I got your back. I love this book, and the cover is growing on me. It is really growing on me, although it seems to be like New York in the picture, which doesn't make makes some sense, but not a massive lot. Right, the next one, I mentioned this recently actually in one of my blog posts, when I was doing sort of like my look back on, I ended up doing like the sort of 4th quarter because I was doing about 3 months of reading, and it's Unmade by Sarah Rees Brennan. And I did actually in that blog post refer to Sarah as the Soul Destroyer, and she saw that blog post and she tweeted it, and I'm sort of sat there going, oh my Christ, oh God. But yes, if you've read Unspoken, you'll know that this whole series is just designed to kind of just keep ripping out your still beating heart and dancing on it. But this was a really, really amazing end to the series, even though, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to see what Sarah does next. I still need to finish her Demon's Lexicon series. I've still got Demon's Surrender to read. Don't know what I'm playing about with that. I've had it for ages. Right, next book. This one is it's kind of strange. I can't believe it was actually only this year that I read it. For some reason it feels like last year or something that I read it. That is Half Bad by Sally Green. And I think my copy signed from YLC. But yeah, this was an amazing sort of start to a sort of new witch series. There's not been that many kind of modern set kind of witch series recently, and this was just so fantastic. Just the writing, it's the first chapter and it's like in 2nd person, it's just really just grabs you. And I also was very, very lucky in that I got to read Half Wild just before Christmas. Well, I finished it on Christmas Day actually, because the branch of Waterstones I worked in got an arc in just before Christmas, and I was like, can I borrow that please? Oh my god, can I borrow that? And my manager very kindly said yes, so I smuggled that out of the shop, which obviously no one could see the massively green cover on the back, and I read that, and it's just so amazing. It keeps getting better, and I will mention it half well now. It's like as kind of one of my honourable mentions for best books of the year, although most people are not going to get to read it until this year now, but it's really, really awesome, and this series, y'all, just keep reading it. My god. I need to speed up because this film is getting so long, and I'm so sorry. Air of Freaking Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is no surprise. When I went for my interview for Waterstones, I got asked to sort of go and pick like a book to talk about that I could sell, and I went and got third of class. And when I got asked about what is like my sort of best book of the year, I was like, Air of Fire. Air of Fire. At that point in sort of late September, Air of Fire was my book of the year still, and it's still probably one of the main contenders for just my favourite book, because my god, Sarah. This is just, and it's so beautiful. And this one's not my signed copy. My signed copy's over there. I have a signed copy because shenanigans happened that I got one somehow. Right, I'm just going to grab like two so I can hold on to these. This next book was like the last one. No, it's not the last. Well, I read this before, Half Wild, but everyone will have heard of this because it's won several awards and it's been like one of the best-selling books of like 2014, and it's The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. Because this is the Waterstones special edition that we had made when we nominated it for our book it won our book of the year, and it is so fantastic. I mean, I was probably quite late to the party reading it in like December, but oh my god, it's just beautiful, and just really interesting the fact that it's sort of historical but written in present tense as well, which is really interesting. Just the characters were really, really sort of, they just kept sort of lots of details and depth to them. You just kind of wanting to know what the hell's going on, and everything's like sort of the whole kind of thing. The Miniaturist is just pulling you through, and it's really, really gorgeous, and I'm really excited to see what Jessie Burton writes next. And also this book is so pretty, and I can't deal with how pretty it is. This next one, I am just, you've already heard me mention about it's one of his, there's crumbs stuck in the dust jacket, what? Oh god, I'm such a heathen. Ignite Me by Tahara Mafi. This came out in like early this year, April maybe, I can't even remember, but I just, oh my god, this third books, my god, there's so many third books in this video, but this was just mind-blowing because Tahara writes so beautifully, and the series has been so amazing, and Deckle edges, but just the way she writes and just her characters. I've never gone through such a sort of 180 in opinion about a character as I have with sort of one of her characters in this series, and just this book was just perfection, really. It was just so awesome, and there's parts in this book where you sit there going, well, damn, and it's so amazing. And I did read this twice. I read through the entire Shatter series twice last year. I'm gonna own up to it. I didn't record like reading the second time through, but I did. I was basically reading. I just picked up Shatter to kind of get a reference for like my writing assignment because I referenced it as an inspiration, and then I read the entire series through again. Oops. Never mind. We're on to last three of actual books, and then there's honourable mentions to come. Oh my god. Do you see the whiteboard there? That's good. Now this one, I don't know for whether it'll maintain this 5-star rating for like if I reread it again, because when you sort of think in hindsight, it's just, but when you kind of read it at the time, it was just like, oh my god, Da! And that's City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare, because this is like the final book in the sort of Mortal Instruments series, and we've gone through like 6 of these, and there's just, although frankly this book, you could probably just hack out the stuff that's all about Emma and her friend, and basically that's the first Dark Artifices book right there, and we'd still have a decent normal size book left over, but it's just lots of feels and just lots of end tying, and sort of at the end I'm like kind of just crying basically. So yes, bit long but still really, really epic. This one was the first 5-star, and it's crazy because I can't remember. It's been so long since I read this right at the start of the year, and I've like everything's just kind of gone. And that's Taste of Darkness by Maria V. Schneider. This is the 3rd Avery of Kazan book, and I really, really like this series. And it was just really sort of interesting that sort of healers basically, somebody effed up and lots of people died, and now healers are kind of like enemy number 1, and Avery is a healer and she has a problem. But this is like the 3rd book, so I can't talk about much of what's going on, and I'd have to remember because my brain is just a sieve. But yes, I love Maria Schneider's books, and I am so excited for the new like poison study related book. I can't remember the name. Is it Soul Study? Something like that. Basically, it's got Valak in it, and that's all I need to know. That's excellent. And the last book that I've got of my sort of 5-star reads, as you probably will not be surprised to see, is Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. Oh my god, this book is just... most people say Laini Taylor has got some of the most exquisite writing you've ever seen. And from listening to her speak at Waterstones last year when she was saying how she can spend hours just crafting a paragraph, it's like... It really shows the time and care she just puts into just creating such beautiful, beautiful writing. And her short story in sort of My True Love Gave to Me was the most lyrical piece of, like, I don't know how long it took her to write that. I mean, it's not like that. It's like probably not more than 5,000 words, but they're all beautiful and gorgeous and just haunting. And this was just fantastic, and my copy came signed because of, thankfully, pre-orders working, so that was always good. But yes, this was just fantastic. Seriously, so fantastic. And real quick, because we're really, really over time now, and I'm really sorry, but I have no idea how to cut this down, so you're going to have to live with it. 4 of my 4.5-star kind of honourable mentions that I feel I should mention, and they're all quite different, which is quite cool. Obviously, Half Wild is one of my other ones, because it's just, although I shouldn't really have 2 by the same author in the same thingy, but fuck it. Another one is Cress by Marissa Mayer, because this series, I love fairy tale retellings, but adding a sci-fi kind of element to it is just, it's so unique and so fantastic, and I'm dying for winter. But then we've got Fairest coming out real soon, which is going to be great, although I don't know if I've seen a UK cover for that. I need to kind of look into this a bit more. But yeah, this series is so amazing, and I don't know why my book seems a little bit bold. Don't know why. Weird. Another one that I want to mention is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, which I read early this year, and I was reading it at work, which was a really bad idea, because I was working at a school at the time, and I was in the library at lunchtime, and I finished reading it, and I just literally was like sat at a table going, I can't sit here and sob right now, but I really, really want to. And when I met Patrick Ness at YLC as well, I sort of told him that he made me cry, and he's like, good, and he signed it as well. So this was just so beautiful, and the film is going to be incredible, I'm sure, and I'm really looking forward to that. And if you've not read this, just read it. It's beautiful. It's got really gorgeous, like, dramatic illustrations through it, and it's a really, really heart-wrenching story, and I love it. Another one is Trial by Fire by Josephine Angelini. I kind of read this like just after Air of Fire, so it was like a kind of fire-related week, and they were both really excellent, because I hadn't really known what was going on with this. I just heard stuff about Salem, and that's like, then it sort of turned into something really sort of crazy, like parallel worlds and witchcraft and all sorts of shenanigans going on. And it's the start of a new series, I'm pretty sure. I really hope so. And it was really, really good, because I've not read anything by Josephine Angelini before, and I was very, very happy. And so yeah, that one. And the last book that I'm going to mention is the only like non-YA book out of all of this, I think. And that's It's Not Me by You by, I'm hoping I'm saying it right, but I was saying Veeeery McFarlane, because I have no idea how else to pronounce that. But I read this after seeing Jess's review. She got an early review copy and just was raving about it, and I was like, I need to get this. But yes, it is amazing. I mean, it's a long book, it's like 500 something pages, but you wish it was longer. You really do wish it was longer, because it's so fantastic and the characters are so hilarious and you just want to love them all, and you'll find Peshwari Nod's forever hilarious after you've read this. And basically, now since I've read this, I have bought both of Veeery's other books, and I've read one of them, and I've still got one more to read. So, and anything for whatever she's going to publish in 2015, I'm there for it. I'm down. But yes, this is my last honourable mention. It's so shiny and gold, and it's fantastic. But yes, that is all the books that are kind of in my best of. It's a nice mix. It's very YA orientated, and I'm going to try and like fix that a bit this year by trying to read a bit more variety, because I need a bit more variety, because otherwise I'm going to get into a point where I'm just reading the same things over and over, and it's going to get really, really tedious, and I don't want that. But yes, this video is so long, and I'm so sorry, and I hope if some of these books have also made it onto your top list, let me know. If there's stuff that I should be reading that were like this year that I haven't read, then do let me know. But in the meantime, bye.